Still awake at 2 a.m. again? You're not imagining it, and you're not alone. There's a hidden reason why tens of thousands of Canadians over 60 are still wide awake deep into the night, and most never realize it. You might blame it on aging, on your bladder, on retirement shifting your rhythm, but in many cases there's a simple, invisible mistake that slips into our evenings, something that seems harmless, even ordinary, yet quietly sabotages your ability to fall and stay asleep. It's not just what you do before bed, it's how your body and nervous system interpret that time. And if you've unknowingly sent the wrong signals, your brain might be locking you out of sleep every single night. So if you're lying there at 2 a.m. staring at the ceiling again, it's not just aging. It could be this. And the good news, once you understand it, you can begin to fix it. If you've ever felt wide awake when you should be asleep, let me know in the comments. You're far from alone. And today, we're going to unravel why this keeps happening and what you can gently shift to finally rest again. The older we get, the more our sleep depends not just on our bodies, but on our nervous system's ability to feel safe. After 60, your sleep architecture naturally changes. You produce less melatonin, your sleep becomes lighter, and your body cycles through fewer phases of deep rest. But that's not the whole story. What scientists now understand is this. For seniors, even minor stress signals at night, emotional, environmental, or hormonal, can flip your brain into high alert. And once that happens, no amount of herbal tea or blackout curtains will help. The real culprit? Many seniors unknowingly bring a hyperactive nervous system into bed with them. Not because of anything dramatic, but because of subtle habits, unprocessed emotions, or even unresolved routines carried over from younger, busier years. And that internal noise? It's what keeps you wide awake at 2 a.m. I remember meeting Evelyn, 67, a retired postal worker from Hamilton. She had no trouble falling asleep, but like clockwork, she'd wake at 2:15 every night. At first, she thought it was hormonal. Then she blamed her late-night snacks. But when we sat down and truly looked at her evenings, the truth became clear. Every night, just after 9 p.m., Evelyn would start scrolling the news. Stories of economic tension, violence, politics. She didn't think much of it. It was just her habit. But neurologically, what she was doing was activating her brain's threat response, triggering a small spike in cortisol just when her melatonin should be rising. That tiny chemical shift, it was enough to pull her out of deep sleep hours later, leaving her wide awake and confused. And here's the thing. Evelyn never felt stressed, but her nervous system was interpreting her environment as unsafe, even though her bedroom was quiet. Once she replaced that news-scrolling habit with 10 minutes of soft instrumental music and light journaling, nothing heavy, just a few thoughts from her day, her sleep changed in under 2 weeks. She told me, I didn't know my brain was still working overtime after dark, but once I gave it permission to slow down, I started sleeping through the night again. But not all sleepless nights come from news headlines or caffeine. For many, what keeps them up isn't on a screen or in a cup. It's inside their chest, something unspoken, unprocessed. Because after 60, the quiet of night has a way of amplifying the things we haven't dared to sit with during the day. I remember Raymond, 73, a widower living just outside Kelowna. His wife passed away 3 years ago, but her absence still echoed in their bedroom like she had just stepped out for groceries and never returned. He described the nights as the hardest part of his day, not because he was in pain, but because he was alone with the silence. I don't mind the mornings, he told me. I can make coffee, open the blinds, but at night, that's when I remember she's not coming back. Raymond didn't think he had a sleep issue. To him, it was grief. And so instead of facing it, he built routines to push sleep further away, watching TV until midnight, snacking past full, keeping the light on even when he was lying down. But every night, his body did the same thing, woke him at 2 or 3 a.m., confused, restless, and aching, not just in the body, but in the heart. Grief like Raymond's doesn't follow a schedule. It doesn't dissolve after a year or fade on command. But here's what changed everything for him. A small candle, a notebook, and one sentence. Not a diary, not a goal sheet, just a simple practice. Write one memory of his wife each night. Sometimes it was joyful, a laugh they shared in Banff. Other nights, it was a quiet sorrow. But with each word, his nervous system began to exhale. The mind that once wandered in circles found a path to peace. 2 weeks in, Raymond said something I'll never forget. I still wake up sometimes, he said. But it's different. The silence doesn't scare me anymore. It feels like she's with me again. And that's the point. Sometimes sleep doesn't return because your body needs fixing. Sometimes it returns when your heart feels heard. If you've ever kept yourself awake because your memories are too loud to silence, try writing one sentence tonight, just one. Even if you rip it up after, you might be surprised what your body lets go of when your heart speaks first. There's something few people say out loud, but many over 60 quietly feel. It's not just the body that grows tired. It's the soul that starts holding its breath. And at night, when the world has gone quiet, that breathlessness shows up as insomnia. as racing thoughts, as 2 a.m. wake-ups that leave you staring at the dark, wondering if something inside you has broken. But it hasn't. You haven't failed at aging. You haven't forgotten how to sleep. You've just never been taught how to slow down on the inside. You see, for most of our adult lives, sleep is something we earn by exhaustion. We collapse into it after full days, deadlines, family dinners, long commutes. Sleep happens because we run out of fuel. But after 60, the race slows, the house gets quieter, the kids are grown, and the exhaustion is no longer physical, it's emotional. It's the weight of unspoken feelings, unshed tears, and silent adaptations. And this is the turning point. Sleep in later life can no longer be approached as a shut-off. It must become a soft arrival. Just like we soothe a child before bedtime, warm milk, gentle words, a favorite blanket, we must learn to soothe ourselves. Because without that soothing, the nervous system doesn't know we're safe. And without safety, there is no rest. Not real rest, not the kind that heals. And this is where everything changes. It's not about finding the perfect pillow or avoiding coffee at 4 p.m., though those help. It's about asking, does my body feel safe to let go tonight? Does my heart know it's allowed to rest? That's the shift. And it's not too late to make it. So tonight, when you lie in bed, don't rush. Don't brace yourself for another battle with sleep. Instead, give yourself permission to arrive slowly. Dim the lights, let the quiet come. Sit with it for a moment instead of trying to outrun it. Breathe deeply, not to force sleep, but to let the body feel safe again. And if something aches in the heart, let it speak through a page, through a prayer, or through a memory whispered into the dark. Because sleep after 60 isn't a task, it's a return to your breath, to your center, to the self you've been carrying all day long. And if you're still awake at 2 a.m. tonight, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's the moment your body finally feels you're listening. And maybe with time, that's what helps it finally let go. Have you ever discovered something simple that helped you rest again? A practice, a memory, a shift in mindset? If you feel safe sharing, leave a comment below. You never know who else might need to read your words. And if something in today's video resonated with you, maybe consider joining us here on Elderly Seasons. We talk softly about the things no one else does, about aging, about healing, about coming home to yourself, one breath and one night of sleep at a time.